Well, this is something new, something I've been looking forward to. Torment Tides of Numenera. Completely blind, so it should be pretty fun. Um, been looking forward to playing this, especially because it's Monty Cook's newest system, Numenera, which actually was back in like 2013. I haven't had a chance to play it though, pen and paper, but this should give us a great chance to dive in. Let's begin. I will be a male.
Your mind wakes in darkness. Aching cold sets into an unfamiliar body. A distant howling surrounds you, louder with each passing second. Insistent and invisible hands slap and tear at the membrane that protects you.
Hope that's loud enough for you guys. Alright, adjust it a little bit here.
Your first emotion is an involuntary and formless panic. You feel you have forgotten something important. As if it once meant the world to you, but the details slip away as you grasp at them. You force your eyes open. A white-pink fleshy cocoon surrounds you. Even as you look, a minor rent in its side tears open, and the howling wind forces its way inside. The cocoon rips away, gone before you can grab it, spinning you into a dizzying tunnel. You are falling, the world many kilometers beneath you. You catch a glimpse of a curved horizon, and also the ground beneath you that is approaching deceptively quickly. Above you, a small moon is slowly collapsing in upon itself. A corona of acid green and black energy playing around its edges. The wind buffets you and burns your eyes, but you don't need to see the details of the faraway ground to know you're in serious trouble. You won't survive a fall from this stratospheric height. A part of your frantic mind babbles that technically you probably fell from a thermospheric height. You struggle to stay focused as the ground rushes toward you. You put your hands to your sides and you slice through the air. The wind tears at your face and scalp, and your skin burns under the tremendous speed. Your vision blurs, and you are unable to judge how far you've fallen.
Keep diving.
A phrase whispers itself into your mind. Terminal velocity. You have reached the limit of the speed the air will grant you, and now that you enter the lower reaches of the atmosphere, you can feel it thickening around you, and miraculously you are slowing from the frenzied descent. Slow is a relative term. You knife through the air, piercing its veils, and you have no time for the poetry of falling. This realization drives itself home as you strike an unyielding surface. As your skin explodes and your organs liquefy on impact, a brief thought flashes through your mind. Your life was utterly and completely meaningless.
Did I just seriously die like 3 minutes into the game? I think that's the fastest I've ever died in a role-playing game. Alright, let's try this again. My life was utterly and completely meaningless. Alright, so we'll go through this again really quick.
A white-pink fleshy cocoon, so the cocoon rips away. The wind buffets you and burns your eyes.
Let's
but you don't need to see the
flatten out and try to catch the wind.
Your arms and legs, and they respond sluggishly. You stop tumbling head over heels. Though you are still spinning laterally, that motion has calmed as well, and you have space to assess your situation, and perhaps to understand the predicament and the body in which you find yourself. Below you, you see a large landmass. A massive ocean dominates the rest of the visible globe, dotted here and there with island chains. Small moons, unusual structures, and strange machines rush past you in glittering profusion as you plummet toward the ground.
Neat pictures. Mental imagery here.
It's hazy. You were in a tall passageway, its sides slicked with dew, the air warm and moist, as if you were caught in the breath of a giant organism. You remember fleeing in fear and exhilaration, laughing through the terror. What was it that pursued you? Something ancient and cold, its coiling power the promise of oblivion. Its shadowed tendrils struck at you, and the walls where they landed were torn apart utterly, destroyed beyond any hope of repair. You leapt into a membranous cocoon and fell from the station, the moon, and then you were empty. But who were you? What was that creature? A word surfaces in your thoughts, and you seize it before it vanishes. Sorrow. The world fills your sight. You're about to hit
Trying to
You're
stop that
still
fall.
gliding. If it's any consolation, the dizzying fall will be over shortly. You see a small glassy dome inside the littered bay, 2 figures outside it. One of them points his arm at you and a riot of colors tangles your fall, slowing you, but not enough. You crash into the building, and as your consciousness winks out, you hear the sounds of the structure collapsing around you, and then darkness.
Alright, so this is us, I guess. This inventory level? Oh, okay. So let's view equipment. Okay. Okay. Final section shows your ciphers you're carrying. Ciphers are one-time usable magical items, by the way. Or, well, I guess science fiction-y, like, fantasy items, since they're kind of both mixed in here in this gaming world. This world is pretty much a fantasy world built upon 9 different generations of technological and magical beings who have kind of left this world. So yeah, we pretty much have nothing because we are nobody. So let's see what we can find. Jumbled thoughts cloud your head as you study the empty bowl before you. Drops of liquid fall from the ceiling, splattering in the ground next to the bowl. The light from every drop is reflected in the bowl's rounded hollow as if it hungers for that light, needs to be filled, yet the bowl remains dry. Yet another drop falls from the ceiling and splashes across the pylons. Wasted. Carefully move the bowl beneath the liquid. You've encountered your first task. You have 3 stat pools, might, speed, and intellect, that you can spend to increase your chances of success. This is called effort. Using effort. To more easily move the bowl in front of you, use the left click to spend might for a higher level of effort. Don't worry if you fail. In Torment, failure often results in interesting outcomes. So let's see if we can fail. We'll put it to the test. So I guess we can kind of spend some of these. Failure. The edges of the bowl tear at your flesh as you seize it. You grit through the pain, though, and hauling the bowl over to the glowing pool of fallen light. You took 1 damage. But we succeeded in moving it. Blood trails from your fingers into the hungry depths of the bowl. Drop by drop it fills, your blood mixing with the light until the air itself takes on a strange reddish hue. Ripples spread over the blurred outline of your reflection. A sanguine radiance spills across the segmented floor, washing away the nearest shadows and pouring into your mind, melting the ragged edges of your fragmented thoughts. You are not whole, not yet, but you have begun to heal from the damage done in your long fall. A voice calls out from somewhere high above, beyond the reaches of the spreading light. I guess maybe I should have read that to you guys. Sorry. I never know if there's a voiceover or not. Let's interact this again. Let's overturn the bowl. When you touch it, you feel a strange tightness in your head and soon discover that the bowl is far too heavy to move now. Even the attempt makes your arms ache and temples throb. Alright, let's leave it alone. Let's get moving. As soon as you touch the orb, memory floods your mind. You stand in front of a rusted door. The air is humid and dank. You've had a moment's respite from this waterlogged hell, a bubble of stale air, your resting point. You've breathed water before, and you've lived decades beneath the waves. But this body's an air breather, and the constant pressure has been crushing you ever so subtly. Worse, your companion's mind seems to be wandering from the task at hand. He's a genius with machines, as you well know, but now he seems distracted. The device in your hands is covered in knobs, wires, and antennas. He believes it can get the 2 of you through the corroded door, but he's merely staring at it. Perhaps he's lost faith in his invention, but that is hardly your concern. This mission cannot be delayed. It must proceed. Let's see, we can deceive him by telling him that you've heard the sounds of pursuit. Threaten him until he returns to the task at hand. This is taking too long. Cast a spell necessary to fix the device yourself. Let's take matters into our own hands. Let's cast a spell. You mumble a few words, drawing power from the air around you until a solution appears in your mind. You snatch the device from his hands, rewire it, and shove it back at him. Oh, he says, examining your work. Sorry, I was trying to improve the thing. He waves the device at the door, and the stale air of your bubble freshens as the door swings open. A dark hallway lies beyond, a passage that links the water-bordered cells and aquatic viewing areas. What you seek lies there. Moments later, you're underwater again, your hands closing around a strange yet familiar artifact. You need it to complete something. It hovers above a pedestal, rotating in the dark water. An electric current runs through your fingers as your hand crosses the vertical plane of the pedestal, and an iridescent field coalesces so fast that the wave of pressure dazes you for a moment. The rising pulse of a sonar alarm ripples through the water. The guards won't be far behind. Let's see here. Let's use a device to stop them, one of the ciphers. You run urgent fingers over the devices fastened to your waist, a fog rising in your mind. A few can be used against the guards, but will also turn your skin to synth steel, or the surrounding water to boiling wax. Hardly ideal. Finally, you find a small silver sphere. Setting the sphere in place, you kick desperately for the safety of a nearby alcove. The sphere whirls and unfolds into a spiraling vortex. The sphere at its center speaks a few polite words in an ancient language, then begins draining the surrounding water into itself with alarming speed. The approaching guards shout, then scream as they too are sucked into the whirlpool and ripped to pieces. You allow yourself a fleeting smile, but are all too aware that more alarms are going off in the distance. The memory begins to fade, as if you were being drawn backward through a tunnel, and you hear more pylons rising from the pit. Something is wrong. The events within the orb have settled into that gap in your mind, but the edges of it are rough, as though the memory itself is not truly yours. There's something else, a gust of sour air pulling at you, like a predator inhaling the scent of its prey at the far end of a dark, whispering field. Let's keep on going. The mirror looks strange, as though what you see in it is real and you're the reflection. That's cool. The light around the door's frame dims and flares like a roaring fire in a high wind. No sign or symbol tells you what might be behind this enormous door. A dull chill radiates from its bronze segmented surface, and the thick metal wheel seems frozen into place. What's this? You stand beside a woman on a verdant crag. Beneath the two of you is a broad plateau, towering above the overgrowth far below. Strange machines have been built into the cliffside, presumably for reconnaissance or defense. A metallic disc gleams from the center of the plateau. Your self-aware humanoid machines drill into the base of the cliffs below. If you were looking for a sanctuary, and you were desperately, this seems like the right place. I don't know about this, the woman says, her voice flat, neutral. Her face is turned away from you. What makes this place any more secure than the other ones we've found? Draw her attention to the hidden details that you are more experienced than I can clearly see. Use your charm to persuade her of the merits of the site and remind her of the time constraints. Convince her of the wisdom of your superior intellect. I'll use the charm to persuade her of the merits of the site and to remind her of the time constraints. A cloud passes over the sun as you engage her in spirited, friendly debate, pointing out the footprint of a prior world civilization whose power remains untapped. After a few minutes, she laughs, raising her hand in mock surrender. Stop, stop. Your servitors are down there. You've already chosen this as the site, haven't you? She waits for your affirmation and says, all right, I'm convinced. The two of you sketch your plans for the sanctuary, drawing schematics and architectural diagrams. Then you descend onto the plateau to examine the open ground. The woman suggests having one of the servitors build a shelter for your time here. You try to draw one of the constructs away from its task, but it doesn't respond to your voice. When you lay a hand on its shoulder to reinforce your command, it whirls and strikes you across the face with inhuman speed. It turns back to its task, ignoring you. Your companion helps you rise, laughter in her eyes. It seems your construct has other ideas. What's the matter with it? Use the Numenera integrated into the construct's body to overwhelm the behavior malfunction. A mist falls onto the plateau as you activate the time-scarred artifacts fastened to the construct's behavioral core with a sub-vocalized command. With an abrupt clack and a pulse of pleasant warmth, the device purges the error, and 7 copper-banded spheres drop out of evenly spaced rifts in the air. Ignoring the common side effect, you give the new orders to the malfunctioning construct in a firm, clear voice. Acknowledged. It immediately trundles to the side of your new shelter. The image freezes, then fades, and you feel the memory filling the gap in your mind, blocked by a jagged block. You stagger, clutching your head. Reclaiming your memories hurts. And once more, there's something else. Hairs lift one by one on the back of your neck. Something beyond this room can sense what you are doing, and is hunting you. A vision of a city springs up around you, your city in flames and under attack. Her defenders have fought and died all day, and still the attackers keep coming. They fight as if your destruction were demanded of them. They care nothing for mercy, surrender, or plunder. What they want is blood. But you have brought a keen-eyed companion to the top of the tower. She has seen the way to stop the invaders. You need to get her to safety, and you need to rally your defenders. But even as you turn toward the door of the tower, 2 of the attackers descend from a hovering machine. You don't have time to strike at them before they land. One is brutishly large, his weapon a vibrating axe. The other is slim, sheathed in glassy armor, and holding a hilt with a sizzling invisible blade. Your companion backs away. She's too young to help. Your enemies advance single file, confined by the parapet. Trade blows with the giant. You can handle it for at least a strike or 2, or duck under the giant's swing and attack before you can strike. Fight defensively and figure out who presents the greater threat. That's what I would do. The memory seems crystal clear. The giant is menacing, it's true, but the invisible blade of his companion is more worrisome still. The energy field that flickers and wavers around it suggests that she can carve matter at the molecular level, tearing pieces of her target into nothingness. If you're to save yourself, your best bet is to tackle her first. She's stuck behind the giant, waiting her turn to attack you, unable to bring her weapon to bear until he's out of the way. But it's clear that she expects him to handle you, and her eyes rove beyond you, her focus on your ward. She's certainly not expecting you to dive between the giant's legs and come up inside her guard. She can't bring her blade to bear in time, and you drive your dagger up under her chin. You catch her before her deadly blade drops onto you, and spin her around. Her blade slashes into the giant, and he topples, bisected. The immediate threat ended, you focus on finding a way back to your allies. You open the tower door and rush down the stairs. The door at this base of the stairs is slightly cracked, opening just a bit into the hall, and you hear more of the enemy soldiers beyond. Let's see here. I would say let's hurl ourselves through the door and knock them to the ground, since we just hear them. You charge through the dim shadows, dropping your shoulder into the door at the last minute. It bursts open. Halfway through its arc, it crashes into the pair of enemy soldiers, scattering them. You race through the door, blade in hand, and you dispatch your stunned foes before they have a chance to move. Their blood begins to pool in the hallway. The memory begins to fade, and you find yourself back in your own body. Your temples throb with the racing force of your heartbeat, and the reclaimed memories blaze within you, like a bonfire on a mountain peak, visible to every predator for kilometers around. A tremor rocks the floor beneath you, as though a massive fist has struck the room itself. Swaying on your feet, you see frantic movement within the borders of a mirror at the edge of the room. The border of this mirror is lavishly decorated with a dizzying number of interlocked symbols, daggers, masks, paintbrushes, amulets, and more. But that's nothing compared to what you see in the glass. You see a vast crowd of people, exact doppelgangers of you, shoving, arguing with and fighting each other. Most are drab imitations of you, but a precious few are vivid and pull at your attention. Each of them bears an intricate pentagonal tattoo on their head. In their eyes, their actions, you see the memories you discovered within the orbs, and the choices you made shining like distant stars. Your hand twitches at your side, and though some of the bright doppelgangers ignore you, an even smaller number immediately turn to you, waiting for you to choose them and learn what you might become. A rumble shakes the room, and a slow vibration spreads from the darkness below, rippling towards the ceiling. Let's point at the doppelganger with the clever eyes. The doppelganger makes its way over to you. It's about to speak when a thuggish figure charges out of the crowd and shakes his knife in the doppelganger's face. Speaking in your voice, the doppelganger raises a calming hand, appealing to the thug's better nature with a combination of disarming wit and outright lies. Scowling, the thug lowers his knife and apologizes to the doppelganger for the trouble. The doppelganger turns to you, waiting for your decision. I consider another choice. Let's look at the intelligent one real quick, and then the one observing all the others. The doppelganger holds itself erect amongst the pressing crowd and meets your eyes with a confident gaze, triggering familiar memories in the back of your mind. When you return from your contemplation, the doppelganger is waiting for your decision with a knowing smile. I want to look at the other one. That was kind of interesting, but the one observing all the others. Sidling around the edge of the unruly crowd, the doppelganger cautions you to silence with a finger at his lips. Together you scan the room and its inhabitants, noting every potential hazard and hearing every drip of strange liquid in the depths beneath your feet. You know what? I think I'm going to take the socially smart guy. The clever eyes. I liked that. Yes, that is who I am. The remaining doppelgangers scatter for the edges of the mirror and vanish. Your chosen identity steps forward. Its appearance changes as it steps out of the rippling glass. Its face exudes intelligence and confidence. Shadows of several devices shimmer all around it. Technology of several kinds, from a myriad of past ages. You get the feeling you, would be more comfortable with all of it. The word nano sounds in your mind. The doppelganger continues walking, stepping into you, filling you, making you whole. The decision rings out into the cavernous room, awakening and unlocking vast mechanisms behind the walls. Suddenly, a grotesque noise rings through your shared worlds, like a bell if bells could rot. Something is coming. So we get more into our health pool and might pool. The mirror fades, leaving a dark, open doorway. You take a deep breath and step through. Your choices in the memories of the mirror have begun to build your character, but now you have the opportunity to decide on a number of details. First, you can decide to change your type. Type defines your abilities and skills you'll be able to acquire as you advance. So, a glaive is pretty much your warrior. Your jack is a jack of all trades, good at everything. Your nano is more of your caster. So, interesting. Choose one exploration, lore, a conversation skill, some draining level, and that skill while active. Active until you next sleep, so you can always be good at kind of something you want to be good for the area, or you can go reset it. I like it. Opportunist ends turn immediately. Make a basic attack against the first enemy that moves within weapon range. Gain a plus 15% on attacks made this way. And we get lowered speed armor cost reduction from moving and might armor cost reduction. Here's the penalty to esoteric attacks. And finally, nanos have increased amounts of ciphers. Ciphers are magical items that are pretty potent, and you can only use them once. If you carry too many of them beyond your cipher limit, you get sick. So you can trade them to other party members to kind of avoid this. Again, this world is science fiction with fantasy involved. Basically, most characters don't know what a lot of stuff is. They're constantly trying to learn what's been left behind for them, it feels like. That's the impression I got from reading the manual and everything. Yeah, let's go with the nano. Nanos are sometimes called mages, wizards, sorcerers, or witches by the people of the Ninth World. Whatever they're called, nanos master the mysteries of the past to the degree that they seem to perform miracles using esoteries. I think that's how you'd pronounce it, or esoteries. Spell-like invocations that combine gestures, command words, and psychic disciplines. They tap into nanospirits, numinous particles that suffuse the landscape to alter reality or learn things that they couldn't otherwise know. That just, yeah, screams out to me to select it. So we have the skills, heavy weapons, training level, and ability, so we don't have that. We are trained in concentration and deception. I like that. And we have the inability to use these things, but if we are the glaive, for example... Okay, so we have the inability to use lore and machinery, so we probably would want some companions to back us up in those. I like it. Let's do this. Stat pools are the resources you use to apply effort or activate abilities. You can distribute pool points as you see fit. Glaives tend to favor might and or speed, while nanos favor intellect. Jacks usually benefit from a balanced set of points. So, how many points do we get here? One point remaining, so we have 2 points. Mental prowess and personality. Yeah, let's go with a pretty potent, mental prowess, willpower, and personality. I like it. Let's do this. Okay, so here's our abilities. We can choose points to improve the ability. So we can scan thoughts. Just when I hear their thoughts, this is useful. This is often helpful, though rarely appreciated. Okay. That's a unique ability. Resourceful. Gain +1 training level in cipher use skill. Allows you to carry additional ciphers. Adaptation. Gain protected, so that gives us a big boost in armors and resistance. +2 per tier, so it scales. Remove all negative fettles, and it heals. That's pretty damn good. Quantum Step, teleport one ally to a point within range. That would actually be pretty damn good. Yeah, I would definitely want to be able to control movement. And being able to get rid of debuffs would be pretty good. Let's do Scan Thoughts. I have a feeling that'll be pretty useful. Most skills increase your chance of success on specific kinds of actions and tasks, but some will give you passive bonuses. Each skill at the novice level can be increased to train and specialized, granting greater bonuses. Descriptors often leave some skills at the inability level, meaning they inflict penalties. When upgraded, these return to the novice level. Oh, okay. Kind of curious. Inability confers a -15. Knowledge of machines and the physical sciences. This gives us knowledge of the natural sciences and physical creatures, including strange or transdimensional creatures. So we're a novice. Training level, inability. I guess, yeah, we'll keep it as is. That's fine. Only glaives receive training in weapon skills. Okay. Although you chose your descriptor from among the many doppelgangers, you now have a chance to view the specific bonuses and penalties it grants. You can also examine the effects of the other descriptors and choose a new one if you wish. So just in case, it was kind of confusing for you, they give you another chance here. Nice. So we're clever. Mechanical will give us machinery and concentration. I just like clever. There's the sound of that. With the deception skill, he's still using some abilities that are magical. I like that. Yeah. Well, that was a really cool character creation process. Gotta say, it was unique. The Spectre tells us everything about the spectral figure seems dreamlike. He is a hazy silhouette who seems to be made out of blue glass smoke. He wears stylish, well-cut clothes. His handsome, bearded face seems hauntingly familiar, though you've never seen him before. He breathes a sigh of relief when he sees you. Well, that's it for this episode, guys. We made our character, gone through the beginning. It's been pretty neat. Died already. That was fun. And we will get to where we're going here and in the next one. So thanks for sticking around. Catch you then.